What's up? What's up? Mike Poglis here from Automated Coaching Engine, where we partner with transformational coaches to help them scale their businesses without spending money on platforms like Facebook and Instagram. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about another type of like situation that you might often find yourself in when it comes to the sales process. And it's overall, quote unquote, I got to think about it, or I got to talk to someone. The biggest way that we have learned how to combat this in our internal sales process, as well as with our clients, is number one, pre-framing the call. So when you go into a pre-frame, this is basically addressing the situation like, hey, this isn't a connection call. This isn't, like just something where I'm going to spit out a bunch of bullshit and we're going to walk away, like if this makes sense, like I'm going to give you some options. Number one, like you can tell me yes, or number two, you can tell me no. So I just want to make sure you're in 100% a good situation to provide that for me. And the best way that we can actually pre-frame it is this right here. So by the end of the call, if you feel this is a good fit and I do as well, there's going to be three options for you. A, you can tell me yes, and we will immediately get you going with a strategy for you that's totally cool. B, you can say, nah, I don't really like this guy. C, you can say, I don't know, I need to talk to a spouse, mother, brother, but I want to avoid this because I'm here to answer any questions you have. And if you have to think about it at the end of this call, it's because there's some confusion. And I want to make sure you have all the clarity you need. So all I'm looking for is for you to give me a yes or no answer. And either way, I'm going to be totally cool with that. Yes, as in I'm in, let's get rolling, or no, as in you're great, but I'm all set. So before we dive in, are you 100% clear on that and in a position to make a yes or a no decision on your own? Now, this is also going to bring up the fact that, oh, I have a partner or I have a spouse, I have somebody that I need to, like correspond this with. So if you do run into that situation where it's like a spouse or a partner or something like that, then I would immediately stop the call from there. Go ahead and reschedule for a time when both of the decision makers can be on the call. And that's going to be one of the biggest ways that you can get a yes or a no. Like I said, pre-framing the call, speaking directly to the decision makers, the people that can say yes or no, but at the same time, putting them into a situation where it's like, hey, man, like when we get to the end of this, like if it makes sense, then I'm going to present you with our offer. And if that happens, I want to make sure that you have all of the clarity to make a yes or a no decision. So if for whatever reason a question comes up throughout the call, make a note of it. We'll talk about it at the end, but I want to make sure everything is addressed. Does that sound good? Yes or no? And they're going to be like, yeah, sounds good. Now, the other thing that can hold you up and put you into a situation of, I got to think about it, is not selling to their problems. And I see this a lot of times, especially with the coaches that we work with, where they basically go into the sales pitch as like a robot. And, we have it in the pitch where it's like, ask them questions, figure out the real problems, figure out the emotions that are tied to those problems. But then when we go into the delivery of the product or the service or the transformation that we can provide, we speak to maybe the problems that they discuss, but we also speak to all the other things that we can help them out with as well. And what that's going to do, it's going to put your prospect in a state of confusion. And that's why they got to quote unquote think about it. So the process here is very, very important. You want to keep it very straight to the point. Obviously, you want to dig up their problems that they're having, any and all of them. But at the same time, when it comes into the delivery of the product or service, the transformation that you can provide, you want to only speak to those problems. So when you go into the pitch, talking about your product, then you can address, you mentioned this problem, here's my solution. You mentioned this problem, here's my solution. You mentioned this problem, here's my solution. So now do you 100% see why this would be a good fit for you? And they're like, holy shit, like you just like, you actually like just will be able to solve all my problems, nothing less, nothing more. Now, the other beauty behind this is it's likely not the only thing that they're going to see when they get inside. So everything else is just going to be a bonus for them. So like I said, the biggest ways that you can combat the I got to think about it is number one, pre-framing the call, putting them into, hey, this is a buying situation. Like if this makes sense, I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions, but if those questions resonate with how we can help you, then I'm going to provide you the offer. I'm going to provide you the solution. And with that being said, I want to make sure that you are in a 100% situation to say either yes or no. Does that sound good? And then, like I said, number two is selling directly to their problems, not your overall product itself. Problem, solution, problem, solution. That's it. How's that sound? Perfect. Cool. So, with that being said, this is the conclusion of I Gotta Think About It series. Mike Pugliese here, Automated Coaching Engine, where we partner up with transformational coaches to help them scale their businesses without spending money on platforms like Facebook and Instagram. Make sure you subscribe below and catch all the next videos. Have a good one.